Hi, this is Franz Cantor, cartoonist, illustrator and toon talker, and I'm here with...
Jim Bridges, and I'm the president of the Australian Cartoon Museum.
Fantastic.
G'day, mate. How you going? Pretty good?
What are we doing? What are we doing here again? We're doing this live. This is a live Facebook thing being broadcast to my page and then eventually to the Australian Cartoon Museum page. So what this is it's a live version of a series that we do called Book Bites, and that's where we review books that are of interest to artists and cartoonists, all about comics, animation and cartoons.
And we've already done this one, and we're going to do this one today.
Yeah. So who is this? This is a comic book put out by Dark Horse, and it's of the Chris Falusi, it's a Spumco.com book, Spumco book, the comic book, and it's a Chris Falusi character, or featuring Chris Falusi characters, which are Jimmy the Idiot Boy, and of course George Liquor American. So George Liquor American was a character in the Ren and Stimpy show. Okay, so Chris Falusi was the director and the creator of the Ren and Stimpy show, and you get such fantastic characters like this. And of course, on the back of the comic books, you can see whereabouts is at the shop to buy your 3D cartoon pals, which is this is one of them here. This is George Liquor American. Okay, so we've already reviewed this book, which is number 3, issue number 3.
And they're 20 years old and still great.
Yeah, so we're going back in time.
In service to mankind.
We're going back in time, and we're going to be doing comic book issue number 2, okay? So you can see these are much loved. My kids have been at this. This is now in the service of the greater good of the Australian Cartoon Museum.
Okay, well, let's get into it.
Okay, so if you're not familiar with John Chris Falusi's work, just check out on YouTube Ren and Stimpy. Okay, so that'll give you kind of an idea. He has this propensity for being a complete and utter
idiot.
Well, he's exaggerating
He's dropped
the characters.
His life savings, which is 25 cents. Godspeed him on his destiny, and that's the beginning of the whole thing. It's just one big chase after this quarter. For a quarter.
But look, he's got so much character and energy. He's peeling a scab. This is the sort of thing. I mean, people that love the Ren and Stimpy show love these sort of gross elements that they put out here, which is sort of like how a little 8-year-old kid would giggle at, peeling scabs off. I mean, he's got so much energy in there, it's bending the rules of the comic panel itself. So even over here, it's got so much energy, it's lost its gutter. This is a style that's at the same, reminiscent of like Harvey Toons and Mighty Mouse of the 50s.
He's collected all his scabs.
Yeah,
he's not mixed them with other food.
Collection.
They're a scab collection.
Yeah, but he's feeding
look at the eye coming out of the panel.
Yeah,
and sneaking around the corners. Just
Yeah, it's these things that make it so popular. Because it's breaking the fourth wall constantly.
And they're jumping out.
Which is what he used to do with the TV show.
Jumping out of the skin. Look at this.
Yeah, I mean, how's that for a walk?
Yeah.
I mean, he's trying to catch the coin
with his tongue.
With his tongue, and that's his life savings.
25 cents.
Yeah. So the whole shtick, the whole story is Jimmy, who's dropped his 25 cents, his life savings, and he's trying to recover it. So he goes into traffic, dodges cars, right? I mean, there's just incredible amount of energy. There's no rhyme or reason. Even Chris Falusi's cartoon show, often the characters, Ren and Stimpy, would go off model. In other words, they would be exaggerated to the point where they're no longer recognizable as the original characters.
And his legs are up here, like it's not a contortionist could do that.
Yeah.
And of course, you know what's going to happen. You just know that
A car runs over his tongue.
And leaves its imprint.
Yes. And then he gets captured by a cop.
Yep.
The coin runs away.
You wouldn't be a moron, would you?
Yeah, but you wouldn't happen to be a moron, would you?
Yeah.
Not quite right in the head. He shows him his card. So it's such a simple,
That's a different
stupid story. And it's so beautifully done. It's like you can't help but be, in love with this
Stinky's
character and the story. And even the colours are so retro. The colours are so beautifully done. They're not all primary colours. They're very, very interesting. So have a look at this as a sequential thing, as a sequential series of frames. It's like, the coin drops into view, a sexy woman's in picture, that's her legs. And it gets, where's it go? Underneath her dress or something? He hears it go clink, right? But he's looking at the camera. So he's again breaking the
This is what I'm
wall.
about to do, folks. Watch me.
Yeah, exactly right. Exactly right. And of course she jumps out of her shoes. So it's just it's incredible the amount of energy and what if. It's like, what can you do in this cartoon? It's just a simple story how to get this coin back. And look
at her.
Look where it leads him.
Head upside down, all still in the frame. And of course he just cares about this and pushes.
Yeah, it's just it's incredible. But look, when she pushes in his his head, she creates a little dimple and then pushes inside the skull and it goes poip.
For every reaction there's an opposite and equal reaction.
Yeah.
Which is the rules of animation, isn't it? Squash.
Yeah. But there's something very
Look at this. The streets.
yeah. There's something very childlike and innocent about this whole thing, like turning his head into almost a chew toy. So he's so big, rather than belting him or strangling him or something like that, he chews on his head. So if you like Tex Avery, the extremes of the reaction of Tex Avery, you'll love this stuff. Yeah. So the idea is he's trying to catch the coin and he's using his tongue to catch the coin. His tongue, trying to catch the coin, his tongue builds up enough friction on the ground that it catches fire. So he's looking around for something to put the fire out. Sees a guy who's asleep with a cocktail with ice cubes in it, right? Puts his tongue in the drink, gets a relief. Then the guy wakes up and takes a slurp of his drink, of his cocktail, while Jimmy's tongue is still in the cup. So this guy swallows Jimmy's tongue. Of course, Jimmy's still attached to his tongue, and he gets sucked into the guy's mouth, and the guy likes it, which disturbs Jimmy. Where does it go from there? Jimmy reacts and pulls back. And then runs away, but he's still not attached to his tongue. Now he's biting on his tongue. So Jimmy has another problem. And, of course, it's embarrassing because he's running through the street with this guy attached to his tongue. So this is like classic slapstick.
The nose cuts off.
Of what ifs. Yeah.
Oh, look at it. Oh.
Pop.
Stretch. He's in. But the coin still keeps going.
This
now
is
he's
classic.
lassoing his tongue. Turned his tongue into a lasso.
This reminds me of the antics of the plank. You ever seen the plank?
Yeah.
It's a silent film using all these British comedians and all the antics they get into in delivering this
all the
plank.
physical gags.
Yeah.
So he's gone up to the engine for the lift.
Yeah.
And it's just sitting there and he's about to touch it. Again.
What else can go wrong?
So close and yet so far, and then there he goes down.
He goes down the lift shaft. It's still attached to the coin, and the band, or the what do you call that thing that goes down?
It's extreme animation in a comic, isn't it?
Exactly.
Through the roof. Look. Crash.
through the roof of the building.
Yeah, it's gone all the
This
way
is
up.
absolutely brilliant. This is so funny. When my kids were addicted to the Ren and Stimpy show, I'd keep them late for school because it was on in the morning. You have to watch this show. And of course, when this book came out in '97, I think it was, it created another big fight for this comic book.
It even melts.
Yeah.
And look how big it is.
Yeah.
That's such a gag.
I know.
It's such a gag.
Snowdrop.
Yeah, and of course they're so tiny.
Look at his hands.
Yeah, look at his hands.
He's so useless.
Yeah.
And even he's got granny panties on.
Yeah, well they're like nappies or something, you know. And then even his snot freezes.
Yeah.
And then he falls out. The coin's coming down. No, he's not chasing the coin. Oh, look at this. Look at this. Crash, bang, smash. Oh, ouch. This is all hurting.
The action in this is
all
amazing.
hurting. This is all hurting.
When you animate something or draw something as exciting as this, I mean the action or the emotion dictates how far you're going to distort the character. So this is absolutely brilliant. And just the side gags, just unbelievable.
And he spits them all in his bag.
This is where you get the result of a master animator
Look at the cat.
telling a story.
Man, did you ever see such a lucky?
Yeah.
Jingle, shook a shing, shook a shing, shook a shing.
And of course, no great comic is complete unless you have these funny ads at the back. And they used to, I don't know if my kids read these, but I did. These are fantastic stuff. Ren and Stimpy show had these fake ads on the show. One of them was called Log, and it had a nice little jingle. So it was a send-up of ads that food companies or toy companies would put on kids' cartoons. So the Ren and Stimpy show was a sort of a homage and a lampoon of kids' cartoon shows from the 60s and the 70s. Similarly with comics, they have he's put in fake ads that make fun of the advertising in comics. Here we go. This is George Liquor. And he's if Jimmy the Idiot Boy is mild and idiotic,
Is this about me? Is this about me? Have a look. Oh, it's about me. Woo!
He's he's a redneck.
Yeah.
You look at that, 1995 Spumco.
Yeah.
Made in China. So he's a American redneck, and as you can probably see, he's a very interesting character. Beautiful. It's sort of completely, distorted by his expression. You very rarely see such incredible love of animation in a toy. Usually toys are very sort of straight with the characters.
And lovable.
Yeah, but this is incredibly dynamic. Sorry for the chair.
Okay.
So you can see how George Liquor is a completely, and when he's animated, he's completely over the top, like all the other characters. But of course, in the comic book, he is similarly distorted by his emotions, his activity, and he gets very, very angry.
Well, he's got his bait in all these pictures, but here he's lost it. There's no bait in his hook anymore.
So it's kind of different, because Chris Falusi used to tell his animators to draw their characters off model. In other words, they'd be almost different in every scene,
depending on the action. Depending on action,
it's more to do with the emotion of the scene, I think.
Yeah.
or
The action.
exaggeration of the action. Yeah.
Yeah, and this is his foe, so it's that's the fish.
If
he's
you're a
after.
cartoonist and you want to express emotions that are, like shy or modest over here, and crazy anger over here. I mean, if you look at these things, you can tell the story. You could tell the gist of what he's saying just by his expressions. And each expression is unique. So each time he expresses an emotion, it's not like a generalized.
Yeah, it's going off character.
It's going off character. The idea
it
of
has
going off
to-
character
it has
is to
to- it
express
has
it freshly every
Yeah, but
time.
it has to because of the extremity of it.
Yeah, but it's to be
It's- it-
fresh and new every time.
And look, he's putting his hand over the words.
Over the words. Yeah.
And he's looking at you.
So it's constantly making fun of
Yeah.
of it being in a comic, which is
Yeah.
what I love.
And he's talking to you, the comic reader.
Yeah, well, he's giving you some fishing
This
tips.
is just nuts. Look at him.
Yep.
Look at him. Oh, I see. If you don't get him, I'll eat this comic.
You'll eat this comic that you're reading. Yeah. So it gives the bait. He gives the fish a bait he can't resist, which is like a sexy bait, a sexy. What are they called? Those things? The
Lure.
Lures.
Look at this. The amount of emotion that this fish is going through is pretty extraordinary.
Oh,
So he goes purple when he gets angry, eh?
yeah.
I mean, they look like two totally different.
Yeah, that's the idea. That's the
Vastly
whole idea.
different, yeah.
Is to express the emotion so extremely, and the action so extremely that it breaks the model. It breaks the model.
Every time.
Yeah. Dead wife cigarettes. There's a lot of very non-PC jokes in here, but just enough to keep you on your toes.
What did your kids say about these comics when they read them? What did they say?
They were flabbergasted. I mean, you're seeing extremes like this,
Yeah.
and they had to actually see a what's his name, the Little Red Riding Hood.
Preston.
Yeah, Preston Blair.
Red Hot Riding Hood.
Red Hot Riding Hood. What
Yeah.
was the other one? What was the?
Oh, you mean out of
Tex Avery.
Yeah.
They had to watch a Tex Avery cartoon to come down
Really?
from the emotion of this. This is
Yeah.
incredibly intense,
Yeah.
and it's extremely funny. I mean, these things to a kid is like steroids, they just
Yeah. Good.
really, really, really excited.
Speaking of steroids,
He's so angry. He
he's
jumps
called him
out
a
of his
Democrat.
pants.
He's called him a Democrat.
Yeah.
The supreme insult. Yipe! He's going to really fix him up, chasing him. Look at that. Look at that all the way.
Yeah.
It's like a motorboat
Yeah.
thing,
But he's so angry, he's jumped out of his
Yeah,
gloves.
he's got his...
So he's cornered the fish,
And-
because
and
the fish said something bad about his mother.
he said he's pulled soap out of his, looks like his bum, and he's shoved it into his mouth.
He has indeed. Look, clean your mouth out with soap.
Yeah. How dare you call me a Democrat? And he's pulled down his little scale to
He's going
smack
to
his
smack
bum.
his bum.
Yeah.
He needs his bum, like
And this
bread.
this one's
and
for
he's going to
mum.
give it a good whack.
This one's for mum.
Yep. So smacks, and then you see the bum jiggle like jelly.
Yeah.
And it's getting red. It gets redder.
Mind you, this is a 20-year-old comic,
Yeah.
and I mean, this happened to me when I was a kid, but it wouldn't have happened to many. And here he is.
Yeah. So the worm gets his own back.
Yeah, the worm turns,
Of course, the fish cries.
and he's still underwater. He's not breathing.
Yeah, I know.
And-
but that's a cartoon
And
for
this
you.
is the reverse of of a
the
fig
Austin
leaf.
Powers
It's the reverse
things in front of the penises.
Yeah, but the
in front of
reverse, the reverse
fig leaf.
Yeah, and he's still underwater.
What's seaweed?
Yeah.
But look at this. It's seaweed, but then the worm comes into view.
Yeah.
So it kind of gives you
yeah.
the impression it's what it looks like.
Yeah.
So it's all these little things. I mean, there's so much stuff in here. There's so much stuff to look at and to think about, you know. And the poses are so beautiful.
But when you read it, it's like, like here it is. It's getting all soppy, and so that it just goes off.
Yeah. I mean, the acting. If you want to talk about, oftentimes they say a good animator is an actor with a pencil.
Yeah.
This is done by an actor.
Yeah.
And it's almost like this is pantomime.
And he's going through
so
his full.
He's pure.
He's going through his full
gamut of emotions.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
but I really enjoy these
walking
little
his fish
references to, the old style school of cartoons and comics. These little background characters. There's for this comic book. This is a panoramic scene. He's now walking the fish, become a pet, and there's Mr. Sun.
Look at all the details done with that.
So his Chris Felucci's women are usually sexy at the same time, gangly and humorous. So it's a strange sort of mix. It's a very odd mix, very odd comic. And it's full. I look at this and I'm just till today I'm blown out by the energy and the beautiful unbridled humor and love of
look at that house.
Just a pure love of animation and drawing that's evident in this. It goes beyond like just keeping the character looking like the character.
Grossology.
Yeah.
Boogers. All the different types of boogers. A dad booger.
The bloody nose booger.
Yeah. Traditional greenie. And of course, it's the discipline that begets love.
Yeah. So he still has to paddle the little fish.
Yeah.
His pet.
Yeah,
and then we
that
have
was
Spumco shop, which you can buy,
Hey.
Yeah.
Give her.
This is, oh my God, look at that. So everything that he does, I must find that one too. The Yogi Bear cell painting kit. Everything he does, everything Chris Felucci did, had the same level of passion for, days gone by and humor and fun and what it's like being a kid, and to quote another famous cartoonist, Crunkle, who did Hero Bear and the Kid, remember your childhood and pass it on. So,
but
my childhood was full of.
See, this is my childhood too, but
fun,
I mean, in our PC
energy.
days, this is almost getting to underground style, isn't it?
In a way, yeah, but it's more acceptable, I think, for kids to read this because it's it's funny.
Yeah, and it's for kids.
It's for kids of all ages.
Yes. Okay, well,
here we are. We'll say goodbye. This is Franz Cantor and
Jim Bridges saying, follow us
on
Patreon.
On Patreon,
and,
go to Patreon and check out the Australian Cartoon Museum.
Check out the previous comic book.
Yeah,
and this is our first live.
Link to me, Franz Cantor, on Facebook, or to the and the Australian Cartoon Museum.
Yes,
on Facebook. Follow us on YouTube, etc., etc. And we hope to be doing these more often.
Yeah. Okay.
Cheers.
Goodbye, Mr. Chips. Goodbye.
Bye-bye.